Boris.
Do you think Mr. Trump will make an excellent?
No, he's no.
Words fail you.
They do. Yeah. If I was in the States voting, I'd vote Clinton. Definitely.
Thank you very much. That was very
You're welcome.
We've got a dearth of information, really, haven't we? About,
Yes.
I mean, we can't trust anybody. Any sort of source of information is now a suspect. Because they're all ramping it up for their own ends, aren't they?
We just need the whys and wherefores. If house prices are going to decrease by 18%, how is that going to happen, basically? And it's like with anything that they're throwing out. We just need to know why is that going to happen and how is that going to happen, really.
But of course, nobody knows.
Nobody knows. No. No.
There's a wealth of misinformation and lack of information. So we just have to wait and see. Thanks ever so much.
You're welcome. Who are you, by the way?
Oh, well, we're working for a news agent. Okay. So.
Right, I'm definitely going to vote Brexit. I think people of my age have known better times. And certainly what I'd like to say to Mr. Cameron and the Remain group is the last 10 years or so, what is so good about it? The hospitals are in a dire state. The dentists, you've got a job to find one. GPs, personally, I don't have too much of a problem, but I know a lot of people don't have access to GPs. Our local walk-in centre at Redruth is being closed, which is an absolute disaster because that was 8 till 8 every day of the year. That's a facility that we're going to lose. The state of the roads, everywhere you go, there's potholes. Schools are struggling. I used to work in a school in an office, and I know the problems they have. I mean, the list is just endless. And what's so good about it, Mr. Cameron, that we need to stay? And if you say the economy, well, why isn't that money going into where it's needed in this country? We are in an awful state. And as I say, someone of my age certainly remembers better times. And I think certainly we need to get out and, let's say, have some hope, have some faith in independence again. Absolutely, yes.
That's lovely. Thank you very much indeed. I can ask you about the wonderful Mr. Trump. Would you like to give us your opinion about him? This may not be used, it depends.
Well, I'm still thinking that it's all a bit of a nightmare. I'm thinking, how can anybody in their right mind think he could be president of the most powerful country in the world and have his finger so near the nuclear button it's frightening. Yes, I think it's a nightmare that we're hopefully going to wake up from. And I'm not particularly into their politics, but it does worry me that he might get in. But I hope Mrs. Clinton is nearer the mark. It says so this morning. She's done really well, so fingers crossed.
You must have done this before. There wasn't a single or or anything. Right. You were completely fluent. Oh, thank you very much. You're rolling. Thank you very much.
Oh, right. What do I think about it? I think the main problem is that people haven't been given good factual information. I don't think David Cameron should have been one side or the other. I think he should have been in the middle, helping people make the decision one way or the other. I think we should have had a lot more factual information about Europe and about Brussels and about the EU and the Council and exactly what they do. I think everybody's got far too involved in mudslinging at each other. I think they've exaggerated the statistics. I think they've made the statistics go whichever way they want them to go. I change my mind every day. My husband changes his mind every day. Part of me thinks that for my children and grandchildren, maybe I should vote to stay in because that seems sort of safer, more known, a bit securer. But my heart says vote out. I should probably decide on the morning. I'm a lawyer, so I am fed up with the EU interfering with British legislation, telling us what we can and can't do. I'm fed up with the in people saying, well, if we leave, then everything will fall apart. I think yesterday it was all about the employment law and what will and won't happen. I think also saying it's going to take 10 years to sort it all out is a massive exaggeration. And I think part of me just thinks, why don't we take the risk? Why don't we see what happens? It's not great at the moment. We're all fed up with Europe. Why don't we just decide to have a change, see what's different? And I haven't mentioned migration, but I think everybody talks about migration, and it's a huge worry.
I think your point that you made straight away about David Cameron not taking sides
Yes.
would have done him a lot of credit, wouldn't
Yes.
it?
Yes.
And that's the first time anybody's raised that, isn't it, Luke? I think
No.
that's a very good point.
I think
actually.
he's got it. He's cornered himself. He said we'll have the referendum, and then he's jumped on one side. And Boris, of course, has jumped on the other side.
Yeah.
What would happen if we were out with who becomes Prime Minister? But I don't think Cameron can stay. What would Boris be like? Who knows? The idea of Boris and Trump together is quite interesting. I think Boris would win.
Absolutely lovely, thank you. An informed opinion and a very fluent one, thank you.
Pleasure.
That's lovely.
Good.
If they don't use that, they must be mad. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Hi, we're at Truro today asking people what they think about the forthcoming EU referendum. I'm Joe Driver. This is the first work we've done for Newsflare, so hi there, Mark. Hi, everybody. And I hope our stuff is well received. I'll do that again. Hello, sir. Are you happy to give your views? Referendum. Yeah. Thank you. Hi, we're at Truro on the Quay, Truro in Cornwall, and we're asking people about their opinions about the forthcoming European referendum. It's the 7th of June. My name's Joe Driver. I'm not a proper reporter, but I do what I can, and I hope you find some of this interesting, some of our material interesting. Thanks. Is that all right?
Yeah, fair enough.
Don't bother trying to go in because you get caught out. It's just the two guys. And then we might ask you a little bit about Mr. Donald Trump and things like that.
Go on,
Everybody
then, that
laughs
sounds
when I say
No,
that.
that's good. It's a good topic.
Exactly. Okay. Would you like to, you're like to roll. Are you here on holiday or?
So we're both students down here
Students.
studying medicine in the college.
Are you?
In our
So
final,
intelligent?
in our final year. Well, arguably intelligent.
Right. Well, tell us what you think about the forthcoming.
So I find it a bit of a difficult topic, the EU referendum, because I'm not sure I've heard enough honest advice and information about it that I can make my own mind up about it. Yeah. And for me, obviously, wearing the Wales shirt, everything, how it sort of affects Wales is an important factor for me. And I'm a bit unclear about it all, really. I wish there was a sort of a place I can go find more information about it.
Yeah, no, I'm with Well. I think most of my information, is either through social media and all the different articles that come up and you read about, and a lot of it's like Leave campaign or Stay, and they're both all articles basically how all the information's wrong and how we know quite a lot about statistics, knowing just about the NHS and stuff and how they can be manipulated by Jeremy Hunt and stuff to make us look bad.
Yeah,
and then you look at the statistics from the EU and you suddenly go, these are all very manipulated. We need all the information, and you just don't get that, and you probably will never get that, especially before the EU referendum.
Yeah, and it's difficult because you'll have some parties arguing the minor benefits to them and not sort of explaining how it'll affect the wider picture, but focusing on the benefits, which is how you got to have to try to sell something, I guess, but
It's difficult.
it's harder for us to understand the wider concept.
Have you decided how you're going to vote?
I'm on holiday, so I'm still trying to get a proxy vote. It's a nightmare to do.
I haven't decided yet, no.
I think
no,
I
haven't.
think I know. But
It's difficult as to whether we can rely on the leaders of Britain to really take care of us, or we need the EU as a sort of mitigator to check that what our leaders are doing is the most appropriate thing for us as the people.
Changing the subject, what do you think about Mr. Donald Trump as president? Did he make a good president?
No.
I think he's a very interesting character, really. It's a very interesting character because he's known for how brash he is and how harsh he can be, and that's how he sort of made the headlines before now. And whether you can have somebody that controversial as a leader,
Especially a world leader, such
especially
as the
especially as big a power as America is, it's questionable, really. But then his sort of campaign of controversy and grabbing the headlines is what's made him such a big face, and sort of it is part of the Donald Trump brand.
Yeah, which doesn't make a good president, makes a good seller of goods.
And
He's coming to England,
yeah.
isn't he, soon to open his new golf course, so he gets kicked out or something.
But it's interesting because he's the complete opposite of Obama. The Obama's such a well-spoken man.
Very charismatic. in a
But that
different
might
way.
be why Donald Trump seems to be doing well, because Obama's such a well-spoken man, has such ideas, but cannot implement them because of how Congress is set up, whereas Donald Trump is the exact opposite. So I think he actually might be able to make some change, but whether that's true or not
And is
is
it good
questionable.
change?
Yeah, is it? Will there actually be a war between America and Mexico by the end of the year? We don't know. Will there be a war between America and Canada?
Is Canada going to build a wall just to stop all the Americans leaving?
Yeah, no, but I'm not convinced,
I'm not
to be
convinced.
honest.
I'd have liked Bernie, but Bernie's obviously out of the running now. You've got Hillary. Is that much better than Trump? You don't know.
Gentlemen, thank you. That was really entertaining,
thank
wasn't
you.
it? That was great. So, what do you feel about the forthcoming referendum? Which way are you going to go?
I'm going to vote out. Yeah, I think there's a lot of scaremongering about staying in, but we've been out before, so no reason why we shouldn't be out again. So I'm voting out.
What about all these millions of pounds each day that we're giving to the EU? 350 billion a day.
Yeah, well, that's the figure they're putting about, but I know we're getting some back, but why not keep it all here and use it all here? You know, why send some away and get it back again? You know, keep it all here in the first place.
And what about all these scare stories that everyone's talking about? You know, everyone's going to get, all the house prices are going to drop and the food's going to shoot up. We won't have any trade and we're going to go. What do you think about all that lot?
I think scaremonger on both sides, really. I mean, we don't know until we do it. So, you know, I think everybody should be, there's negative and positive on either way. You should just, if you're passionate about this country, then vote out and deal with the consequence when we're in it. Sort problems out as we go.
Somebody made an interesting comment this morning when we were asking, when they said that David Cameron should have just been neutral and not tried to persuade us to do one or the other. What do you think about that? It's an interesting thought.
Yeah, I think I agree with that, and I also don't like other people interfering, like Barack Obama, German Murtaugh. All those people are telling us what to do, and it's nothing to do with them. I mean, what happens in this country is down to us. So I think that'll make more people vote out because they don't like being told what to do. People like to make up their own mind.
That's jolly good. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay.
Very good points you raised there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what do you think about? Do you think our friend Mr. Donald Trump would make a good premier for America?
I don't really know. I like Donald Trump because I think Donald Trump says what people think. A lot of people don't like to say what they think because it will upset people, but he says what a lot of people think. So I like Donald Trump.
That's good. That's the first person we've had with that reaction. That's
Yeah.
very interesting. And it's variety we want.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Now, I know what you're saying. I mean, yes, he's honest. Yeah, and nobody's honest now because they're fear of reprisals or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much indeed. That
That's
was
right.
good. So, what are your thoughts about the forthcoming referendum?
Well, I'm a Leave, definitely. I made my mind up and I've already voted because I'm a postal voter.
I'm not going to keep interrupting you because it's your opinion I want. So
Right.
any subject around this referendum, the politicians, just say your bit. Say what you
The
think.
reason why I decided on Leave is I think the Remain, I was very suspicious of when they started saying that we would lose out by our imports and our exports would be troubled, you know, that they wouldn't do a deal with us, and yet we import a lot more into the country than we go out. So if anybody's telling me that a day after the referendum the Germans and the French are going to say we're not dealing with you, then it's we're going to obviously tit for tat and say, well, if we can't play in your playground, you're not playing in ours. So I don't agree with that, and I definitely didn't agree with Mr. Obama interfering, because I think, again, if I did read something in the paper, but of course you don't always believe it, but that there was not a deal with Europe, between America and Europe. There was no deal. They were still trying to hammer it out, and the last I read, the French weren't happy with what the Americans were going to do. So I thought, well, there's a bit of a not untruths there, you know, which probably on the other side there is, you know, but there again, you know.
I think it's very well balanced. Do you think the politicians have lost their credibility a bit over all this?
Yes, I think I think it's become a bit, you know, of a tit for tat, and I
think the politicians have.
Yes, I think the politicians have sort of gone over the top a bit with it. Yes, and after all this is over, one way or another, they're all going to work together. I really don't know.
How about Donald Trump as the next president of the USA?
Oh, absolute rubbish. But I mean, I'm surprised at America. You know, they must have some talent there that they could use. You know, but I think that's gone. You know, whether he will ever get in, you know. And one thing that would amuse me is if Mr. Corbyn got in UK and he was in America. The first conversation would be brilliant if you could film that. I think it would be a blockbuster.